Good evening, everyone. Myself, C. Ashish Vadodaria, and I would like to welcome you all in this wonderful and first of its kind event. Hear me out. Before buying even a simple stock to invest, we ask the question why. In this coming election of ICI, we are gonna choose our leaders. Shouldn't we ask anything to them? So, in the interest of the profession and its stakeholder, CAS has come up with a very first of its kind and a very unique program. Hear me out. For the opening remarks, I would like to request CA Rashesh Shah, the president of CAS.
Respected candidates of the Central Council ensuing election, uh, Mr. Rajkumar Adukia, CA Piyush Sajjan, CA Chandrasekhar Chitle, CA Archana Yadav, CA PR Arololi, CA Anuj Goyal, CA Amresh Vasist, and CA Rajendra Narang. All these candidates have given their consent to participate in this event. Vice President of our Association, CA Hardik Kakaria, Secretary of our Association, CA Lalit Haripara, other office bearers of our association, and all members of our CA fraternity. It is heartening to welcome all of you for this event. Hear me out. And at the same time, it is disheartening that very less numbers have agreed to take participation. It is very unique and first of its kind democratic event organized by our association. We are really missing the absent candidates. Anyway, what it may be, we are happy that few candidates are courageous enough to participate and are prepared to solve various issues faced by our profession. Our Vice President, C. Hardik Kakaria, put his best effort to organize this event, but really hard luck on our part that we were not able to gather the large candidates. Anyway, the purpose of the event is very meaningful, and in my opinion, our ICI should organize such type of event so that the members can know their candidates and they can take appropriate decision at a time of election. We have two rounds. First one with simple suggestive question. Second one with representative questions. You shall have to provide your views only as a member of the institute. Participants will be selected on random basis to whom question will be asked also on random basis. Our appeal to stop blind voting and vote only on basis of knowledge and capability. We should know our candidates, their knowledge, their wisdom, their activeness, and this type of platform is very useful for the members of our fraternity. So let us start the event with wishing all the candidates the best luck. I am sure that they will answer all the questions to the best of their knowledge and ability, and members will be happy to receive their replies. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you all the candidates. Thank you for all the members for attending this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rashesh sir. Now let's start our event. We will be having a two round of questions to the participant. First question is here on the screen to CA Amresh Vasist. Pragmatism in specialization. What is the role of ICI for increasing the effectiveness and the practical use for certification courses like ISA, FFD, valuation, government accounting, concurrent audit, insolvency, bankruptcy code, etc., and its industry acceptability?
Good evening to all.
Good evening, sir.
And thanks for arranging such a program. All these programs are being regulated through the committees. And as long as these programs are not attached with any opportunity, I don't think that we are doing a justice by arranging these programs. Like the DISA diploma, what we arrange, there was a time when branches were migrated to the digital. So they have taken a certificate from us and the revenue was a 6,000 per branch only, inclusive of all traveling. So all these courses, whatsoever it is, it's not a value added courses. we have to go in depth, and you have to go to the background of these courses also, that the same are being organized by the committees, and the revenue of these courses go to the committee directly. So I am having a very big reservation about these courses.
Thank you, C. Amrish Vasisht. Our next question goes to C. Rajkumar Adukya. The question is here on the screen. Articleship from the central pool. Sir, what is your opinion if articleship is allotted through centralized pool system to enhance value addition and new shape to articleship?
Thank you to Surat Chartered Accountants Association. I am a life member, and I am a life member of all the Chartered Accountants Association in the country, just for the information. And this question is, see, first of all, we are considering articleship as our right. It is the students' right to whom they should serve their training period. So all the questions, there are no optional 20 questions. I feel the competition and the free world progresses all the stakeholders. So in no way there can be a centralized pool to allot students. It is the choice of the students. There is a reasonable control that, depending on the number of year of practice, a member is eligible to keep a certain number of students as an article training. So, and in fact, the more relevant question is what kind of training we are giving to the student. Are we looking into the overall development of the student? See, I may have only cooperative audit, but am I explaining to the students what is a company audit, what is a tax audit, what are the transfer pricing audit? Am I doing some training in my office? Am I doing some soft skill development of the student? Am I taking the interest in the learning of the student? Am I looking into if the student is given 2 attempts, why the student is not able to succeed? What are the conceptual understanding which the student has not gained? I think those are more relevant issues rather than allocating the number of students to members. It is the choice of the student to whom they should go, because where they feel like we go to the university, we go to the college which we feel is better, or we are able to get the admission. And in the training system, there is a certain period transfer is allowed. So suppose if I am not having certain work, the student registered under me can do a part of the training with another member, and officially by informing. So this is my answer to this question. And I feel the current system where the choices of the student is perfectly all right. More we should look from the members' perspective. Are we training the students?
Thank you, CA Rajkumar Adukya ji. The next question is for CA Piyush Chhajed. The question is here on the screen. Multiverse of accounting standards. What is your opinion on the multiple version of accounting standards applicable in India, like AS, Ind AS, IFRS, AS under section 145 of the IT Act, norms as per GST? What has ICI done for the same?
Thank you very much. Thank you for putting this question and giving me this opportunity to address it to the whole team of CAAS for the Short Sea Association of Surat. And as far as the question put to me is regarding multiverse of accounting standards, I do appreciate that there are a lot of different accounting standards which are applicable at different levels, and which is also affecting the partnership firms, which are engaged at the different levels. Let's take an example. I would just like to put this with connected with SMP, small and medium enterprise, wherein they are facing a difficulty because they are following Ind AS, and if they want to actually look into a work wherein yeah, they are actually following AS in most of your clients, and they do not have an exposure of Ind AS, they are not able to actually take a work where the Ind AS is compulsion, and that becomes a prerequisite. For an example, if I want to take a work where the Ind AS accounts have to be drawn for Ind AS, the first question which is asked to me is whether you have ever done work on Ind AS. So such multiple version is technically creating a divide amongst the chartered accountants, where one particular batch is involved in only complying with accounting standards and they are not conversant with Ind AS at all. So I think so the best idea at the ICI level would be to actually synchronize this. And if they want to actually make a mandatory Ind AS, let all the entities at whatever level, whether it's an SMP entities as far as business is concerned, why should everybody not follow Ind AS? What will happen with that is my all members will get conversant to a particular accounting standard, and there will be no wall that I do not have an exposure to Ind AS, which is actually dividing my chartered accountant practicing professionals, wherein one particular sect, which is a small sector, only knows accounting standard and do not have an exposure to Ind AS, whereas the other sector only is doing an Ind AS work, and only they are eligible to actually look into this works. So my take on that would be that yes, no, it should not be multiple version. It should be a single standard of accounting standards, which all my professional workers, whether he's a chartered accountant who is a small enterprise practicing as a small enterprise or a medium, or he's a part of a big four, they are trained in the similar set of accounting standards. So tomorrow, if I want to scale up, there is no roadblock that I am not actually executed any project on Ind AS. So that roadblock is actually creating an hurdle for a growth to a next level. So obviously, I believe that ICI should look into this aspect, and if they can be synchronized, wherein a single set of accounting standards is applicable to everybody. Number one, of course, ICI can do it because there is from an ICI's part also there is also a distinction being drawn between small and medium enterprises and more other than small and medium, and also there needs to be a talk done with the obviously income tax where the section 145 has been prescribed accounting standards because they are different. So those all can be brought and synchronized into one standardized Ind AS or IFRS or accounting standard, whatever you may call, it should be same. So that's all.
Thank you, CA Piyush Chhajed. The next question is for CA PR Aruloli. Question is here on the screen. Clear the text on endorsement. When any program is sponsored by any private body, whether the CA participating in the program should wear any logo or other merchandise to promote the product or a service of the sponsoring body.
That actually I was into the membership of the and leadership of SARC. There is no such requirement encountered by me during such membership and leadership. And even the participating organizations, they want to have an advantage with reference to being associated with ICAI, and they don't trust upon that we should wear their logo or other merchandise. Whatever they give is only for the purpose of their promotion, and we are taking it as a matter of routine and as a matter of continuation of whatever has been happening. And there is no such thing that the endorsement is happening by way of making the chartered accountants as a slave of the product. It is the chartered accountant will always have the choice of the product, and if the particular product is going to be of any use to them, they will go into it and they will buy that. We chartered accountants are professionals, and being professionals, we should have to have a trust on the chartered accountant, which is on a national basis getting down and down. And we as council members should have to see that it is being brought up to the old age days. It is the choice of the chartered accountant. I trust the chartered accountants are professionals and they will make their own choice, and there will be no such thing of the chartered accountants becoming slaves of the sponsors.
Thank you, CA PR Aruloli. The next question is for CA Archana Yadav. The question is here on the screen. Advertisement, to be or not to be? Should the current restrictions of advertisement as per the code of ethics be relaxed or not?
Thank you so much, sir, for the opportunity. And this question I would like to answer from the perspective of ICI as well as members. Sir, advertisement is, a type of activity which actually helps you to reach to your potential customers. So this may be taken in a positive sense. Advertisements per se have, very different pattern. One can be publicity, one can be advertisement, one can be solicitation. I will stick to advertisement right now. As of now, we have ethics wherein we are not allowed to advertise about our, expertise, about our nature of work done. But looking at the current globalization and looking at the current level of competition that we are facing from the various other member bodies or from the global professional services, to my opinion, to certain extent and with the proper guidelines, the members should be allowed to advertise their expertise, their products to certain extent, definitely within the four corners of the guidelines. And then there should be a proper monitoring mechanism also, wherein members are not getting into solicitations or undue publicity. Now coming to the second level of the this point, advertisement, what I perceive this is that apart from members advertising about their expertise or about their nature of work, the ICI as an institute should also try to reposition the brand of chartered accountants for the trust and the capacity and the competence that we carry and the level of quality that we bring around to the business fraternity, stakeholders, and to the regulator bodies. As an ICI, what I perceive that we should actually look into repositioning the entire image. If I quote a particular advertisement wherein, one particular agency tries to put in, a particular product saying that mutual funds hai to sahi hai. In that particular way, not putting any particular entity or any particular, per se vertical advertising it, but as an chartered accountants being a quality and a partners in the nation building, we can reposition the entire institute in building the trust at the national level, at the regulator body level, and also at the global image level, wherein we can have a better presence, better visibility, and also bring in a quality statement at the global level. Thank you so much, sir, for the opportunity.
Thank you, CA Archana Yadav. The next question is for CA Anuj Goyal. The question is here on the screen. ACCA. What is your opinion on the growth story of ACCA?
First of all, I compliment CAS for giving this platform to all our candidates. And I think the ACCA is trying its level best to see that how it can capture the market in each and every part of the world, including India. And as it's very easy comparatively to pass the examination, and due to this, a lot number of students and the parents are also having the attraction towards attaining this qualification. And I think one of the most important reason is this, that it is having its presence in each and every part of the world, number one. Number two, they are having the partnership with the private organizations also, including, if I'm not wrong, with the management consultancy, Big Fours also. So I think Institute of Chartered Accountants of India should certainly see that how we can approach the government of India to curtail the growth of ACCA in our country particularly, so that the students, the future of the country, the young generation can get the best of the opportunity to go for those qualifications which will certainly give the real value addition to them. I think it is the need of hour that the government should be approached by ICI to see that how we can try to curtail the activities of ACCA. And I don't have any hesitation to say that, of course, the growth is very well there of the ACCA. Lot number of youngsters are joining ACCA, and I think it is the need of hour that we should certainly try to see that how we can have a more aggressive approach for the chartered accountants qualification also, how it can be more practical, and how we can try to reach out to each and every university, each and every college through career counseling also, and by the use of the technology also. So that is my humble submission. Thank you.
Thank you, CA Anuj Goyal. Now the next question is for CA Rajinder Narang. The question is here on the screen. CPE from CA associations. How can BCAS, CAAS CAS, CAAA, LCAS, Karnataka Association, ECCA, and many other CA associations across India can play a fruitful and supplemental role with ICI? Example, CPE eligibility for the association program, representation to various bodies, including revenue offices, police, media houses, etc.
एक्चुअली जहां तक मैंने काउंसिल में रहते हुए ये जो चीजें देखी हैं, क्योंकि जो अपना इंस्टीट्यूट का सिस्टम है उसमें सीपी एलिजिबिलिटी के लिए जो अपनी दूसरी एसोसिएशन है उसको इंस्टीट्यूट अलाउ नहीं करता। प्रैक्टिकली क्या रहता है कि ये लर्निंग प्रोग्राम है, लर्निंग प्रोग्राम की वजह से एक पोर्टल और उसका कंट्रोल नहीं हो पाता। जहां तक बात है डिफरेंट एसोसिएशंस का और उनका मिलने का, वो हम लोग एक अच्छा रोल प्ले कर सकते हैं इस मामले में, क्योंकि एज ए इंस्टीट्यूट हम कुछ प्लेटफॉर्म पे रिप्रेजेंट नहीं कर सकते मेंबर्स की प्रॉब्लम को, लेकिन अगर हमारे पास स्ट्रॉन्ग एसोसिएशंस हैं और एक हमारी कंट्रोलिंग बॉडी बनती है, अगर उनके अंडर डिफरेंट एसोसिएशन काम करें तो एक पैरेलल हम लोग खड़ा कर सकते हैं पूरा का पूरा सिस्टम, क्योंकि एमसीए का पार्ट होने के कारण कुछ चीजें हम लोग इंस्टीट्यूट लेवल पे नहीं कर सकते, तो वो हम एसोसिएशन लेवल के ऊपर कर सकते हैं। और इसका स्ट्रॉन्ग होना मेरे हिसाब से बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है, क्योंकि अभी हमने हरियाणा के अंदर भी एक एसोसिएशन बनाई है, तो जिसके अंडर हम लोग सीएम वगैरह हम लोगों से मिलते रहते हैं, जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं हम उनको सोल्व करते हैं। तो मेरा ये मानना है कि इस तरह की एसोसिएशन एक अच्छा रोल प्ले कर सकती है, लेकिन इसी के साथ हमारे पास एक सेंट्रलाइज्ड बॉडी भी होनी चाहिए, जिसको हम जस्ट लाइक ये कह सकते हैं कि हम उसको एक एफिलिएशन दें, और ट्रेड यूनियन की तरह ही अगर हम इसको रजिस्टर्ड कराएं तो उसका इफेक्टिव ज्यादा आएगा। क्योंकि बहुत से केसों में हमने देखा अभी कई बार हमें मेंबर्स को प्रॉब्लम होती है, हम उसको प्रोसीड करना चाहते हैं कर नहीं पाते, लेकिन एसोसिएशन जो ट्रेड वाली बनी हुई है उनके जो ऑफिस बीरर है, अगर वो इस तरह का कोई भी एक्शन लेते हैं तो उनके ऊपर किसी भी तरह की कोई कार्रवाई नहीं होती या उनके ऊपर कोई एक्शन नहीं लिया जाता। हमारे यहाँ सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि एक एजुकेटेड लॉबी होने के कारण, जो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है, ज्यादातर लोग इसलिए आगे नहीं आते एसोसिएशन लेवल के ऊपर कि कल को ऐसा ना हो कि प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते करते हम लोग ही उसके अंदर इन्वॉल्व हो जाएं। तो वो जो एक सिक्योरिटी मिलती है ट्रेड यूनियन में, उस तरह की रजिस्ट्रेशन अगर हम लोग इनका करवाएं तो बहुत ही अच्छे रिजल्ट आने के चांस है। मेरा ये मानना है कि ये अच्छी चीज है और इनको इफेक्टिव हमें करना चाहिए। जहां तक बात है सीपी एलिजिबिलिटी की, वो तो नहीं हो पाएगी, क्योंकि जो मैंने इंस्टीट्यूट की इंटरनल पॉलिटिक्स किया, मैंने उसके रूल एंड रेगुलेशन देखे हैं, बट एज ए सोशल सिक्योरिटी में तो इस तरह की सोसाइटी बहुत अच्छा रोल प्ले कर सकती है।
Thank you, CA Rajendra Narang. So here we end our first round of questions, which was regarding suggestive questions. Now let's begin with our round 2, where we'll be asking the representational questions. And the first question goes to CA PR Aruloli. Question is here on the screen. Why ICI COC for elected representative, nominated representative, and co-opted representative not mandatory? Why ICI Code of Conduct for the elected, nominated, and co-opted representatives is not mandatory but advisory?
Yeah, Vanakkam. This particular question seems to be very general in nature, and as such, the code of conduct is consisting of many very things, and the many very things is with reference to a person acting as a member, with person acting as a elected representative, with a person acting as a nominated representative, and there is no such differentiation. Any person is being a member has to come under the code of conduct even now. There is no such thing called mandatory or advisory. And they don't differentiate a member from being a member and being an elected council member or being a nominated member. It applies to all people thoroughly. And there are many cases also which is there with the elected representatives. And whenever you see the election nomination form, at least 3 to 4 pages consist of bringing out these information from out of the candidates who are standing in the election. As such, applicability is mandatory and it is not advisory from my side.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Actually, the question is regarding that there is a clause 13 which says it is advisory in nature. So the point is, if COCs are there, then why it is not mandatory?
It is normally, see, what is the differentiation? The differentiation, a member is primarily a member and then elected representative. Whatever applies for a member applies for being an elected representative and being a member also, no? There is no such differentiation. That is what I am telling. As of now itself, there are many disciplinary cases which are going on. And even if you see that form itself, anything and everything which is pending also is being brought out. 3 or 4 pages of the election nomination form, if you look, is only consisting of these things. It is all transparent, open, and known to everyone. No hiding is happening in this as of now. That is my
Okay.
viewpoint.
Thank you, CAPR Arunoliji. Now the next question is for CA Anuj Goyal. The question is here on the screen. Data analytics on ICI member and the student database. What is your opinion on a high profit earned by ICI looking to the non-profit organization concept? What is your opinion if student fee is curtailed for various type of training? Do you think that ICI should do data analytics on the revenue generation from the members and students?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a very, very valid question, and I compliment CAS. And I think it is the need of hour for ICI to see that how we can have some analytics so that as in the real sense we can prove that we are NPO, not profit organization. And this Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is for the members, for the students, by the members, by the students. So I am of in complete agreement that the student fees for the various type of training, including registration fees for the intermediate, foundation, as well as final, can be curtailed, including ITT, orientation, MCS, so that in real sense it can be further economical, and each and every student from whichever background one is can be the part of this process. Further, I am of the firm opinion that one thing which is very, very much required at ICI level, that we can provide the platform in a better manner to each and every student to have the direction, to have the education of each and every subject, particularly of intermediate and final, so that there is no need for payment, FT payment for the virtual classes or the pen drive classes. So I think these things are the need of hour, and I am in complete agreement that student fees should be curtailed for various types of training, and we should certainly do data analytics in this regard as far as the revenue generation from members and students is concerned. And if possible, we should certainly go for the reduction of the fees of the members also in the times to come. Thank you.
Thank you, CA Anuj Goyal. Now the next question is for CA Rajkumar Adukia. Question is here on the screen. Regulators not confiding with ICAI. ICAI is not taken into confidence while amending tax audit report, CARO, LFAR. How will you ensure that such situations may not happen in future?
See, we first should understand who are we, who are regulators, and who are user of our services. See, we as a chartered accountant, we are service providers. The regulators makes the law to take the interest of the stakeholders on general basis. And the users of our services are regulators also and enterprises also. Look at other services, the architect service, the medical service, the engineer service. They do not define, what we will provide. What I see here, TAR means tax audit report. CARO, we know very well, companies auditors report order. Now we have 2020. And long form audit report. Now we as a service provider, we have a capability, the biggest skill of ours is something called professional skepticism. That means inquiring attitude. And we have a 45 engagement standards and 1 quality control standards. I think, we should tell to the regulators, you can come out with any TAR, you can come out with a CARO, and you can come out with LFAR. And we are capable of giving a report on every aspect, rather than saying, no, this we cannot do, that we cannot do, there is a risk. There is no risk in audit. There is no risk on what services we are providing. The risk is when we do not follow the rule of the work. What is the rule of the work? If it is an audit, we have to study the business, we have to study the internal control, and commensurate with the internal control, our sample size should be there. There should be a sample plan, there should be a supervision, there should be a second opinion within the entity, within the firm. So all these, and they do listen to us, but they have to listen to the stakeholders. So I personally feel, somebody grows in competition. We chartered accountants are in the monopoly state of affairs. In United Kingdom, there are 6 institutes of chartered accountants. We have seen in our life that how competition brings efficiency, whether it is telecommunications, whether it is airline, whether it is some other sector. So I feel we are capable to give a report on any aspect, and I feel we are okay with whatever is there in TAR, CARO and LFAR.
Thank you, CA Rajkumar Adukia ji. The next question is for CA Piyush Chhajed. The question is here on the screen. The multinational competition. What steps should ICAI to take for creating a level playing field for Indian firms to compete with the multinational firms?
Thank you very much for this question. Of course, there are not a single step which can be taken in this, but there are multiple steps which, according to me, needs to be taken. And one fortunate thing which I have seen is that even the government of India after the PMO made some speech that why our Indian entities should not be in the Big Four. They have done they have taken recent steps also where the joint audit in certain categories of banking and financial institutions have been introduced. So I think so ICI can make a representation on that there has to be a concept of joint audit at maximum levels. Of course, I would not say at all the levels, there can be some thresholds, but at least joint audit should be applicable or should be compulsory for a certain categories of listed entities, number one. What happens is once there is a joint audit, then obviously the Indian firms also get an opportunity. So if you have one auditor as a Big Four, there can be, or a multinational, any other multinational, your Indian firms also get an opportunity to that. So the joint audit would be an ideal situation. I do believe that joint audit, even the institute, of course, I've not been part of institute, but I have heard that institute was also in favor of that. And effort was already made to make a joint audit, but there was a lot of reluctance and pressure from these multinational entities also that it should not come up. But now, because seeing the last changes which has happened, I'm sure government would be keen. And I think so ICI's role should be to promote joint audit, number one. That could be the number one thing what I feel. Number two, there can be a mandate scale of fees at a particular level, subject to regulatory requirements that you do not are on the wrong side of MRTP Act or that. That if you mandate certain categories of fees based on the size of the firm or the entities, what happens is a certain multinational companies will have to charge a fees which is a particular category. So what happens if they are not able to do work below that? If a minimum mandatory fees is X amount, and of course the multinational would not like to do that work, then obviously that work percolates to other Indian firms, maybe medium or small enterprise. So these two things I think so could be what I can think of right now. But as I said, there has to be a different level. Third, again, as I said, I will refer it to my earlier question that there shouldn't be a different sets of accounting standards. One India's wherein only multinational entities are actually doing their business, and my other professional small firms, medium enterprises are actually only practicing on AS. So there should be a single accounting standard set. So I am also equipped properly and technically to compete with them. So if the accounting standards I say or various other standards are applicable to each and every chartered accountant equally for whatever type of audits they are doing, my chartered accountants are trained to take up any work, whether of any type of entity, whatever are the requirements. So that would be my take on it. And as I said, these are not limited. There can be many much more steps. And we need to bridge the gap. That would be my important take on it. Thank you.
Thank you, CA Piyush Chhajed ji. Now the next question is for CA Archana Yadav. Question is here on the screen. Branding the trust. How should ICI increase the trust and value of CA profession among the stakeholder, including branding?
Thank you so much, sir, for the question. And as I previously relate to my previous question also, basically, if we look at the roundabout questions of the previous participants also, we need to reposition our brand to great extent. Second thing is, let's understand stakeholder is not only the regulatory bodies, but also the multinational companies or the MSME segment, and along with that, the customers in the market domain who look forward to audited balance sheets of ours. So branding the trust, as in we need to create first of all a positioning in the terms of bringing out the right perspective in a very sound and a very concrete way. Second thing is, as a CA profession, we always come out with the strongest trust values in the market. We have a strong ethics. We come as a concrete body, accountable body. We all have membership numbers visible in the balance sheets or in the websites or in any public domain. So we are more available to the stakeholders and the people that we are responding to, or we are writing, or we are signing up the balance sheets. So as such, only thing is that we already have a trust in the market. However, it needs to be more reiterated and it has to be brought in a more prominent way. Second thing is, we also have competition coming in from the other, global bodies. So at the same time, we have, National Financial Reporting Authority, which has recently raised, a perspective wherein they have said that, 50 crores or below, the quality is not to the mark. So we need to be more groomed, more, integral in our terms, and we need to be more presentable in terms of our reporting requirement, the transparency, and in terms of presenting the policies to the government, to the stakeholders, and also make the brand of CA and the ICI more visible on the terms of, the credibility that we bring in the market, and the faith that we bring in on the papers. Like the PMO says that the signature of the PM is not, the signature of the chartered accountant is more valuable than the signature of the Prime Minister. That's a very big statement that comes from a Prime Minister. That's the trust that we already have built up. All we need to is to reiterate, bring it more prominent, make it more reiterating, and also make it more, visible in the system, and create, a thought process wherein we also tell to the customers and to the MNCs and to the MSMEs that we also weigh the, when we sign a particular balance sheet, we make that statement that no balance sheet is having a material misstatement. So audited hai to sahi hai. That's the concept that has to go around. And once this concept is there in the minds of the public, I'm sure we will be able to rebrand the entire trust, and we will be much more visible in the society, and society will treat us, equal stakeholders in their policies and positioning. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, CA Archana Yadav. Next question is for CA Rajendra Narang. Question is here on the screen. NAFRA Action Plan. How NAFRA can be tackled to maintain the existing professional opportunities available to CAs?
मेरा जहां तक ये मानना है कि जो नफरा है, नफरे का जो आने का पर्पज था वो कहीं ना कहीं हमारी ही अपनी लैगिंग थी आईसीआई लेवल के ऊपर, क्योंकि बहुत से हमारे केसेस इतने ज्यादा पेंडिंग पड़े हुए हैं कि जिसको हम जस्टिफाई नहीं कर पा रहे थे कि क्यों ऐसा हुआ। अगर नफरा को आने का रीजन जो था बेसिकली अपनी डीसी कमेटी के जितने भी केसेस हैं उनका इतने ज्यादा नंबर का पेंडिंग होना। अगर हम सही टाइम के ऊपर, अगर कोई हमारे सामने ऐसा केस आता, अगर हम उसके ऊपर डिसीजन लेने के बाद उससे क्या रहता, गवर्नमेंट को हमें जरूरत ही ना पड़ती, क्योंकि ऑटोनॉमी हमारा जो इंस्टीट्यूट है, जो हमारी बॉडी है, वो एक ऑटोनॉमी बॉडी के अंदर आती है। अगर हम अपने ही लेवल के ऊपर इतने स्टैंडर्डाइज इसको बना लेते और हमारा स्टैंडर्ड इतना हाई हो जाता कि हम अपने मेंबर्स के ऊपर अगर उसने कोई गलती की है या कोई इस तरह का इलविल है एक्शन लेते, तो शायद नफरा की जरूरत ना पड़ती। आज भी अगर नफरा को हम देखते हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं हमारा ये फेलियर है, हम गवर्नमेंट को ये नहीं समझा पा रहे कि हमारा जो सिस्टम है वो कुछ अलग ढंग से है। हम पब्लिक के अंदर, ठीक है, हर एरिया के अंदर, हर सोसाइटी के अंदर कुछ ना कुछ लोग इस तरह के होते हैं कि जो गलत काम करते हैं, बट इन होल हमारा प्रोफेशन अपने आप में एक अलग से रॉयल।
Thank you, CA Rajendra Narang. Now the next question is for CA Amresh Vasisht. The question is here on the screen. Thou art extraordinary. What is your opinion if practicing CA is allowed only for specific field of a practice to enhance the value addition and reap the benefit of specialization? For example, CA doing assurance service should not be allowed to do the taxation practice of same client.
Sir, it's quite impossible. If we see the format of our practice, it's I'm not talking about the big four, I'm not talking about the big cities. I belong to a small city and I can reply in that mode only. So what I feel and what I see in my small city, that we are providing a departmental store rather than some specialization. So we have to give a package to our client, whether it's a GST, whether it's the income tax, whether it's a company law, whether it's some other thing other than the accounting. So it's quite impossible at this juncture that we can go for some specialization of taxation or a specialization of indirect taxation and thereon. We have to give all the services under one umbrella, that is our that have been taught to us, and we have learned it, and we are providing the same. There is no scope of any kind of specialization into our services other than this transfer pricing or so. If anyone can do that type of practice, certainly he is having some exposure to that. But at large, because you have to see 85% of the chartered accountant, those who are working as a sole proprietor or a partnership of two partners. So if you look to that side, to these small practitioners, there is no scope of any specialization. We have to give services. We have to give the whole packages for our livelihood. So it's, for me, it's a impossible task.
So hereby we complete the round 2 also, and we note the absence of CA Hardik Shah and CA Chandrasekhar Chitale. It was all in all a wonderful experience to interact with the candidates, and to sum up this program, I'll request CA Lalit Hirapra, the Secretary of ACAS, to give the formal vote of thanks. CA Lalit Hirapra.
Let me first congratulate all the participants. Thank you very much for the participation. Thank you, members across the India who have given their contribution in form of question to be put before the candidates. Thank you, audience, for the patient listening and attendance. Special thanks to our Vice President Gandhi Kakadia sir for arranging this first of kind is program, calling to each and every CCM candidates across all the central council like WRC, SIRC, NIRC, EIRC. He has talked to each and every candidates to the council, and yes, thank you very much to the Ketan Gadia for coordinating this whole program. Thank you very much.